Good morning. Welcome to the northern Lincolnshire Wolds. We're going to do a walk along a section of the Viking Way, seeing as it celebrates its 50th year since it was opened officially, 1st of September 1976. So come along and, well, I did this trail in 2015. Let's see what's changed. I walked this Viking way back in 2015. I'll try and reminisce about some of the stories on the 15-day hikes I walked to complete the 147 miles. Just heading to Normanby, wold. Someone's put a stone on there, the Viking Way 2026. And a smiley face. Nice little touch that. The Viking Way runs along this western escarpment of the Lincolnshire Wolds, and some beautiful scenery up here. You might just make out the sheep on the hillside there. Well, later in the walk we should be going through a deer farm, so there might well be some red deer to see as well yet. We've just come off the Viking Way. We're going to go through Claxby, and we're going to take a low level route nearly to Tealby before we pick up the Viking Way again, and then come back on that classic route where you're going through the deer park, Walesby Ramblers Church, and the views from Normanby top. And I bet the sheep like me are pleased this breeze has picked up and it's a lot cooler. The roses, the wild roses, as we head to Claxby Church. Inside the church at Claxby. Wow, look at that stained glass window. We're now on the flatter part of the walk. It's Claxby Church, obviously where we was just in. Now, view of the western escarpment. And we'll be going back up there on the way back, right on the edge of the Wolds. Can you just make out the wildflowers there in the field? Looking gorgeous in this sunlight. We have just rejoined the Viking Way, outskirts of Walesby, and then we should be hitting them deer fields. See if we can come across any. What a view that is. Just looking up at the Ramblers Church, Walesby. I'll get some cracking views from there later on. Can you spot the deers on the hillside? We'll be going through that field later on. Just reminded me, back in 2015 when I walked the Viking Way, somewhere near Grantham, and we just was going down Fallow Lane, and lo and behold, there was 7 or 8 wild deer in the meadow. It was a fantastic experience to catch those wild deers way back then and on the trail. We've come across another field of them. They're not sure of me. Now some Lincoln long wool sheep, an ancient breed I think, busy feeding. Hello there. Hello. No, not bothered about me, are you? Not bothered about me at all. There's Castle Farm, derelict now. I was reading that the land to build that was bought in 1810 and the farm built just after. It's grade 2 listed, but nothing much has happened to it over the years I've been coming past. We'll be behind it in a bit, so we might get a closer look. This is where the footpaths changed. When I did the Viking way, it was the other side of the dike, but it got that wet and boggy just there that they've obviously diverted it over the years, and we're now going up this way. When I walked the Viking way, these two Scots pine trees stood majestically on this rocky escarpment, but in between years this one definitely got struck by lightning one stormy night, and that's the consequences. There are our views. You might make out Donington-on-Bain TV tower. If you're doing the full trail, you'll be passing there, and that's the edge of Tealby village you might just see. The Viking way carries on between the trees. Here's a different view of the castle farm. I think these rocks will make a nice cup of tea and chocolate bar stop. Oh, the sanctuary of the forest. On a hot bright day, this shade is very welcoming. An old trailer there, you can see the leaf springs. Been left there a good long while, I can imagine. You burst out of the forest, nice little bench to open views. To superb views like this, and it looks like above that tractor now there might be a red kite or something. The crows are warning him off anyway. That is a red kite that the crows were warning off. Just gone over my head, but I was looking into the sun. Hello there. Getting in the shade, you 3 or 4, 5. The Risby flock. A rare breed indeed of sheep. Got this edge, and then we get even more views in a minute. You can't sit on there. I think he's having a good old rub. In fact, I know he is. What are you doing there? It's my bench. So we're heading now to the Ramblers Church at Walesby. It's one of them rare deep valleys in the Lincolnshire Wolds, and the Viking way goes straight down and straight back up. It's a good challenge. We made it to the bottom. Let's go through these two gates and then we're back into the deer park. But there's lots of different fields with them in, so whether we get a close up, I'll have to wait and see. Ooh, that noise goes through here, doesn't it? A nice climb up here now. Well, I don't know about nice. These boys aren't so skittish. They're getting ready to run, mind. The origins of Walesby. Step back in time and become immersed in centuries of history. I've just seen this, which is interesting. In 1959, a rare Roman baptism font was unearthed in the fields near the site of the villa. The famous Walesby Roman font, or Walesby tank, as it is better known, is one of only around 20 tanks found in Britain. Looks like you can go back to the 7th century, Anglo-Saxon. There is the church. Let's go in and see if we can have it all to ourselves just for a few minutes. Candlelit carol service, Saturday the 12th of December. I keep meaning to come to that one day. Always forget at the time. Let's see. It's hardly ever used now. 3 or 4 times a year. They use the one more in the actual village to save the villagers climbing uphill to get here. But here's the famous stained glass windows with the walkers on, cyclists. Over the years I've walked this path to, well, up to Walesby Ramblers Church, and this section is always wet, and even with the dry spell the path must be a natural spring comes out of it. Never known it dry, even now. Look, unbelievable. It's got to be a spring coming out the side of the hill. Anybody likes mud, come here. It's always muddy. The old village tap, Walesby. This village tap is the last of the gravity-fed natural spring outlets that are situated around Walesby village. The iron pipe feed ran from a spring rising up the path leading to All Saints Church, also known as the Old Church and the Ramblers Church. Yeah, that's all that mud we've just been walking through. That is a spring, like I said. One of my incredible moments on the Viking Way was probably part 9 or 10. It was sort of Grantham Way-ish, but the day of the walk, it was the last weekend the Vulcan was flying. It was a fantastic sound and sight way back then, and one which we was very lucky to capture on its last ever weekend of flying. I've got another, although sad, aircraft story for you towards the end of the walk. Some views east. Picture postcard views. Never see this morning. Another little stone somebody's painted up. The Viking way. Must have been asleep this morning. Past this way. We're all but finished, but my last story is in 1946. These woods here, there used to be a plaque, a memorial to an Avro Lancaster that smashed into these trees, burst into flames and killed 4 of its aircrew. The other week I was at the East Kirkby Aviation Centre and I got some shots of Lancaster taxiing. I'll put them on the end of this video now. It'll finish the video off nicely. Well, that's been a cracking, very small section of the Viking way, and reminiscing on my time on it in 2015. Hope you've enjoyed it. Just like to say thank you very much for watching, liking and commenting. Catch you next time. Bye for now.